For the longest time, it felt like being behind. Behind in money, behind in progress, behind in life. Watching others move faster, earn earlier, stabilize sooner, and no matter how much effort went in, the same quiet thought kept returning. Why is it taking me so long? That question doesn't sound dangerous, but it slowly reshapes identity. It turns patience into self doubt, waiting into weakness, timing into failure, and without realizing it, life becomes a race that was never meant to be run. Every delay feels personal, every pause feels like rejection, but here's what was misunderstood back then: delay is not denial, and slowness is not punishment. Sometimes it's preparation. I want you to know, friends, there were phases where nothing moved, no breakthrough, no confirmation, no visual progress, just effort disappearing into silence. And silence is uncomfortable because silence leaves space for comparison. Other people's milestones start sounding louder, other people's timelines start feeling closer, and slowly a belief forms: I must be doing something wrong. But that belief assumes something dangerous, that life works on one universal clock. It doesn't. Life works on capacity, not speed. No one talks about this. They talk about consistency, they talk about hustle, they talk about patience. But they don't talk about readiness, because readiness isn't visible. You cannot post it, you can't measure it, you cannot prove it. But it decides everything. There was a realization that changed the way time was seen. What if things were not late? What if they were waiting for stability? Stability of identity, stability of decision, stability of nervous system. Because giving abundance to someone unstable doesn't help them. It overwhelms them, and life isn't cruel, it's precise. Think about this carefully. Every phase that felt slow was doing something specific: teaching patience without bitterness, teaching effort without attachment, teaching trust without evidence. Those lessons don't arrive loudly, they arrive quietly. Over time, when nothing seems to be happening, but internally everything is happening. This is the part most people miss. Preparation doesn't feel productive. It feels boring. It feels repetitive. It feels like nothing is changing. But preparation builds capacity, and capacity is what holds breakthroughs without collapsing afterwards. Looking back, it became clear: if success had arrived earlier, it would have been mishandled. Not because of lack of intelligence, but because of lack of regulation. Money requires calmness, opportunities requires clarity, growth requires grounding. Those things can be rushed, they have to be lived into. So the feeling of being late was never about time, it was about comparison. And comparison distorts perceptions because it ignores context, it ignores internal growth, it ignores invisible preparation, it only sees outcomes. There comes a moment, quite subtle, where something shifts. The urgency fades, the resentment dissolves, the pressure loosens, and instead of asking when will it happen, the question becomes: who am I becoming while I wait? That question changes everything, because suddenly waiting isn't empty, it's active, it's shaping judgment, it's redefining institution, and it's stabilizing identity. And identity decides destiny. No conclusion yet, no reassurance yet, no payoff yet, just the truth settling in. That question, who am I becoming while I wait, doesn't rush an answer. It sits. And in that stillness, something changed, something important becomes visible. Most people think time is the reason things don't happen, but time is rarely the real factor. I want you to know the real factor is readiness. Not intellectual readiness, not motivational readiness, emotional readiness, nervous system readiness, identity readiness. Life doesn't release things based on desires. It releases things based on capacity to hold success without fear, capacity to handle money without panic, capacity to receive attention without shrinking, capacity to make decisions without desperation. The capacity isn't built with everything is working. It's built in the in between situation. The in between situation is uncomfortable because it doesn't give feedback. You show up and nothing responds. You try and nothing confirms. You improved and no one notices. And slowly a belief tries to form. This must be meant for me. But that belief misunderstands what's happening. Silence is not absence, silence is construction. Think about this carefully. If everything arrived the moment it was wanted, then there would be no stability to hold it. People don't fail because success is too big. They fail because success arrives before identity stabilizes. That's why some people self sabotage the moment things start working. That's why sudden money disappears. That's why fast growth collapses. Not because they are weak, but because they were not ready to be the person their life suddenly required. Life delays people it intends to trust. This reframes everything. The moment that felt like being overlooked were moments of being protected. Protected from pressure, protected from responsibility too early, protected from outcomes that would have created collapse instead of expansion. And protection rarely feels kind in the moment. It feels like rejection, it feels like stagnation, it feels like being forgotten. But protection works quietly. There is something else no one explains. Some people are delayed because they are meant to move cleanly, not fast, clean. Clean decisions, clean boundaries, clean relationship with money, power, visibility, and choice. Clean doesn't mean easy, clean means grounded, and grounding takes time. Look back honestly, the person you were a few years ago, could that version handle what you're asking for now? Not technically, emotionally. Just think. Could that version stay calm under pressure? Could that version trust intuition without panic? Say no without guilt? Hold money without fear? Move without comparing? If the answer is no, then the delay wasn't cruelty. It was calibration. Here's the shift that changes everything. Instead of asking when will my time come, ask what is being strengthened right now. Because something always is. Discernment, patience, self trust, boundaries, clarities. These don't show up on timelines, but they decide whether timelines last. There is a moment when this understanding settles fully. The resentment fades, the urgency dissolves, the pressure releases, and something replaces it. Certainty. Not loud certainty, quiet certainty. The kind that doesn't need proof, the kind that doesn't rush, the kind that says my timing is not wrong, it's specific. And here's the most important truth: life does not prepare everyone this deeply. Some people get what they want quickly, others get what they can sustain. If you're willing and if you're still waiting, it's because what's coming isn't small. Small things don't require preparation. This is why comparison is no longer makes sense. Different capacity, different preparation, different assignments. Some people are not meant to move early. Others are meant to move correctly, and correctly last longer. So if you feel behind tonight, pause. Not to quit, not to push harder, but to recognize something scared and something sacred is happening. Your identity is stabilizing. Your nervous system is learning safety. Your decisions are becoming cleaner. You are self-trust. You are becoming the self-trust itself. And your self-trust at the same time is deepening. And when those lock into place, movement becomes inevitable. You were never late. You were being prepared. Prepared to receive without losing yourself. Prepared to grow without collapsing. Prepared to succeed without fear. And preparation always finishes quietly. One day, without warning, life simply opens. No drama, no announcement, just alignment. As this video ends, let this settle. Nothing was wasted, nothing was late, everything was precise. Say it slowly. Because once you stop fighting time, time starts working with you. And like, share and subscribe so that you cannot miss another manifestation video or spiritual awakening video. I'll see you in my next video.